Welcome, dear listeners, to another serene journey on the Dreams of Gravity channel. Here, we drift together through the vast wonders of the cosmos, letting the gentle rhythms of the universe lull us into peace. If you haven't already, find a comfortable spot, perhaps lying down in your bed with pillows supporting your head just so. Let your body sink into the softness beneath you, releasing any tension from the day. Breathe in slowly and out, allowing your mind to soften and wander freely. Tonight, we'll explore the quiet mysteries of the universe, where stars whisper secrets and the fabric of reality unfolds like a dream. Close your eyes if it feels right, and let the story carry you away. Imagine the universe as an endless ocean, its waves of light and matter ebbing and flowing in eternal harmony. At the heart of this ocean lies a profound question. Could the very essence of our awareness, the spark of consciousness, bend the waters around it? We're speaking of quantum consciousness, that delicate dance at the smallest scales where particles flicker like fireflies in the night. And perhaps, in their interplay, they touch the shape of space and time itself. Not in dramatic bursts, but in subtle ripples, like the breath of a sleeping giant stirring the stars. Let's begin our voyage by gazing upon the grandest structures of this cosmic sea, the galaxies. These are immense whirlpools of stars, spiraling gracefully across the void. Our own Milky Way, for instance, stretches about 100,000 light-years wide, home to hundreds of billions of stars, each one a quiet storyteller in its own right. But galaxies aren't solitary. They cluster in groups, like families gathering around a distant fire, bound by the subtle pull of gravity that whispers rather than commands. Take the local group, our neighborhood of over 50 galaxies, where the Andromeda Galaxy, our closest spiral companion, drifts toward us at about 110 kilometers per second. A slow waltz that will one day merge our lights into a single grander glow, some 4 billion years from now, when the stars themselves will have long since evolved. This merging isn't chaos, but a tender embrace, reshaping forms while preserving the essence, much like how memories blend in the quiet hours before dawn, creating something new from the familiar. As we float among these spirals, consider how galaxies reveal the universe's age through their ancient hearts. At the centers of most large galaxies, supermassive black holes slumber, millions or billions of the sun's mass, regulating the flow of stars like a steady heartbeat. In the Milky Way, Sagittarius A anchors our core, its event horizon a boundary where time lingers, stretching moments into eternities for anything daring to approach. Yet, from afar, it hums with activity, feeding on wisps of gas that spiral inward, heating to brilliance and casting X-rays across the galaxy's underbelly. Galaxies like these teach us patience. They form over eons from the faint echoes of the Big Bang, where tiny density fluctuations, mere whispers in the plasma soup, grew into these majestic forms under gravity's patient guidance. It's as if the universe, in its infancy, dreamed of such vastness, and now we witness the fulfillment, serene and unhurried. Diving deeper into the life of galaxies, picture the arms of a spiral like ours, not rigid but fluid, maintained by density waves that ripple through the disk, compressing gas and triggering bursts of star formation, like gentle swells lifting boats on a calm sea. These arms glow with young, hot stars that live fast and die young, their supernovae enriching the interstellar medium with heavier elements, iron, gold, the very stuff of life, scattered like confetti from a quiet celebration. Elliptical galaxies, by contrast, are smoother, older gatherings, their stars orbiting in random directions after mergers have puffed them up like aged clouds, less vibrant but wise in their tranquility, holding clues to the universe's turbulent youth, when collisions were more frequent, forging the diversity we see today. Through telescopes like Hubble or the James Webb, we glimpse these ancient light shows, photons journeying billions of years, arriving as soft reminders that the past is never truly gone, merely softened by distance, much like the way a lullaby from childhood echoes faintly in the mind during restful moments. Galaxies also host dark matter halos that extend far beyond their visible edges, invisible cocoons that cradle the luminous parts, preventing them from drifting apart like leaves in a breeze. Simulations show these halos forming first in the universe's structure, gravitational wells that attract baryonic matter to condense into disks and bars, central elongations that stir the pot of evolution, funneling gas inward to fuel black holes and starbursts. In distant galaxies, we see this process frozen in time, their irregular shapes hinting at recent interactions, tidal tails stretching like silken threads pulled between lovers, eventually falling back to nourish new creations. This dynamic balance speaks to a cosmos in gentle motion, where isolation gives way to connection, mirroring how in our own lives solitary reflections often lead to deeper bonds, unfolding with the patience of cosmic timescales. Lenticular galaxies, transitional forms between spirals and ellipticals, display faint disks with central bulges, their subdued star formation a whisper of past vigor, like the calm after a story's climax, settling into contemplative maturity. Further afield, the Virgo cluster, a gathering of over 1,000 galaxies 50 million light-years away, demonstrates gravity's communal pull on grand scales, where intracluster medium, hot, diffuse gas, binds members with magnetic fields and ram pressure that strips gas from infalling spirals, quenching their starbirth like a soft blanket muffling a flame. This environment fosters red and dead ellipticals, their light steady but unyielding to change, while dwarf galaxies on the periphery orbit like quiet satellites, harboring dark matter concentrations that outmass their stars many times over. Observing these clusters through gravitational lensing, where foreground mass distorts background light into Einstein rings, perfect circles of bent photons, we uncover the invisible mass's distribution, a subtle mapping that reveals the universe's scaffolding, much like feeling the outline of a hidden structure through silk, inviting a sense of underlying order in the apparent sprawl. Superclusters, even larger assemblies like our Laniakea, encompass hundreds of clusters in flowing streams, defined by peculiar velocities, motions beyond the Hubble flow, drawing us toward the Great Attractor, a gravitational hub shrouded in the zone of avoidance, where the Milky Way's dust obscures our view. Yet cosmic surveys pierce the veil to trace these vast migrations, evoking the pull of unseen forces that guide our own paths through life, steady and reassuring. On scales approaching the observable limit, the Sloan Great Wall stretches 1.4 billion light-years, a filamentary chain of galaxies that challenges uniformity, reminding us that while the cosmos averages out to isotropy, local asymmetries bloom like variations in a vast tapestry, each thread contributing to the whole without disrupting the serene expanse. These structures, mapped through redshift surveys, illustrate the hierarchical build-up from quantum seeds to cosmic architecture, a process where voids, immense underdense regions, expand faster than the average, creating a bubbly foam that dominates volume, quiet expanses that balance the dense webs, much like the pauses between words in a soothing tale, allowing meaning to resonate in the silence. Galaxy filaments, those slender bridges connecting clusters, weave through space like neural pathways in a cosmic brain, channeling matter and energy along their lengths, where simulations reveal how initial quantum perturbations amplified into these threads during the universe's linear growth phase, a delicate scaffolding that supports the weight of stars and gas, fostering the gradual emergence of complexity in a manner reminiscent of how quiet conversations build lasting connections, one shared insight at a time. Irregular galaxies, such as the Magellanic Clouds orbiting our Milky Way, exhibit chaotic forms from ongoing tidal interactions, their star-forming regions patchy and vibrant, like sketches unfinished yet full of promise, where gas flows in streams that ignite sporadic bursts, enriching the local environment with fresh elements, a testament to how even disorderly forms contribute to the galaxy's evolving narrative, much like the unplanned moments in a reflective evening that reveal unexpected depths of understanding. Barred spirals, common in mature galaxies, feature elongated bars that drive gas inflows, enhancing central activity and arm structure, a structural evolution that matures over billions of years, transforming simple disks into intricate patterns, akin to the way personal growth refines raw experiences into layered wisdom, each twist adding nuance without haste. Ultra-diffuse galaxies, faint and extended with low surface brightness, float in clusters like ethereal veils, their sparse stars suggesting disrupted origins or slow accretion, harboring vast dark matter envelopes that stabilize their fragile forms, quiet outliers that whisper of the universe's tolerance for subtlety, much like the soft undercurrents of thought that sustain deeper contemplation amid louder distractions. Ring galaxies, rare jewels formed by head-on collisions that send stellar rings rippling outward, expand slowly like echoes of a dropped pebble in a pond, their cores left dense and active, a visual symphony of disruption yielding beauty, evoking how life's gentle collisions can propagate waves of transformation, settling into harmonious new forms over time. Peculiar galaxies like Centaurus A, with its dust lane bisecting an elliptical body, betray a merger's aftermath, radio lobes extending millions of light-years from a central active nucleus, quiet jets carving voids in the intergalactic medium, a legacy of energy release that lingers softly, much like the faint afterglow of a meaningful exchange that shapes distant horizons without clamor. Dwarf spheroidals, numbering thousands around the Milky Way, orbit in extended halos with minimal gas, their old stellar populations tracing dark matter substructure, resilient survivors that anchor the galaxy's outskirts, akin to the steadfast roots of ancient trees holding soil in place during quiet seasons, providing stability for broader growth. Shell galaxies, layered like onion skins from minor mergers, display concentric arcs of stars, faint ripples from accreted companions that settle into the host's disk, a subtle layering that enriches the overall form, much like the accumulated layers of experience that add quiet depth to a life's quiet narrative, each shell a testament to gentle integrations over vast spans. Starburst galaxies, where interactions compress gas into frenzied birth, glow with infrared excess from dust-obscured nurseries, their rates 100 times the norm sustaining for mere tens of millions of years. a burst of creativity that seeds globular clusters enduring billions more, reminiscent of those rare periods in personal history when inspiration flows abundantly, leaving lasting imprints amid the usual calm. Polar ring galaxies, with equatorial disks encircled by perpendicular rings of captured material, orbit in tilted planes, their gas fueling anomalous star formation, a rare geometry that highlights the universe's playful asymmetries, like an offbeat rhythm in a soothing melody that adds unexpected charm without discord. Seyfert galaxies, with active nuclei quietly illuminating their hosts, emit broad emission lines from high-velocity gas near central engines, a subdued luminosity that hints at balanced feeding, much like the inner glow of satisfaction from a well-tended garden, where effort yields steady, unassuming bounty over time. Sab galaxies, intermediate between spirals and barred forms, show subtle elongations that guide material flows without dominance, their disks maintaining spiral structure through mild perturbations, a transitional poise that reflects the universe's preference for gradual shifts, akin to the way seasons blend one into the next, each phase informing the harmony of change without abruptness. Amorphous galaxies, lacking defined arms or bars, drift in low-density environments with uniform light distributions, their simplicity a canvas for slow evolution, quiet forms that embody the cosmos's allowance for understated existence, much like the plain backdrop of a calm evening that lets subtler beauties emerge naturally. Edge-on spirals, viewed as thin disks silhouetted against backdrops, reveal warped halos where gas twists like veils caught in a breeze, their vertical instabilities hinting at dark matter's uneven pull, a gentle distortion that adds depth to the flat illusion, evoking how perspectives from afar can uncover hidden dimensions in everyday scenes, softening the view into richer contours. Dwarf irregulars in the field, beyond cluster pressures, sustain low-level star formation from recycled supernovae ejecta, their patchy disks like scattered thoughts in a wandering mind, fostering resilience through sporadic renewal, much like the intermittent sparks of insight during a leisurely walk that gradually illuminate a broader path. Merger remnants in post-starburst phases, with blue continua fading to red, settle into lenticular forms over giga-years, their gas exhaustion a pause before quiescence, a reflective interlude that mirrors the settling of emotions after change, allowing clarity to emerge from stirred waters. Interacting pairs like the antennae galaxies, locked in a gravitational tango, trail long bridges of stars and gas that fuel tidal dwarf galaxies at their ends. These offspring emerging from the parent dance like quiet epiphanies born from shared journeys, their formation a slow coalescence that adds layers to the cosmic family tree without haste, reminding us how entanglements in life can birth new beginnings from the fabric of connection. Phaneroff-Riley radio galaxies, classified by jet structure, display edge-brightened lobes in FR2 types, where hotspots advance like probing fingers into the intergalactic gas, creating cavities that buoy back with buoyant pressure, a persistent outreach that shapes the cluster medium over millions of years, much like the way extended conversations reach into unexplored ideas, gently expanding the shared horizon with unforced curiosity. As we drift closer, we encounter planets, worlds orbiting these stellar beacons. Earth, our blue marble, is just one of many, formed from the debris of ancient collisions. Its surface, a canvas of oceans and mountains, shaped by time's patient hand. But let's linger on how these worlds come to be. In the disk of gas and dust encircling a young star, called a protoplanetary disk, particles the size of sand grains collide softly at first, then with growing insistence, building pebbles, boulders, and eventually planetesimals that sweep up more material like gentle snowfall accumulating into drifts. For gas giants like Jupiter, this process captures not just rock, but vast atmospheres of hydrogen and helium, drawn from the disk's outer reaches, creating banded clouds where winds whisper across ammonia crystals, forever chasing the planet's swift rotation. Imagine standing on such a world, feeling the pull of gravity that could cradle 1,000 Earths, yet from space it spins like a marble in a child's palm, indifferent to the storms that rage within. Other planets whisper of possibilities. Rocky worlds like Mars, red and silent, holding echoes of lost waters that once carved valleys deeper than the Grand Canyon. Rivers long evaporated into the thin air, leaving behind polar caps of frozen carbon dioxide that sublime like morning frost under a weak sun. Or Venus, shrouded in a blanket of clouds so thick they trap heat, turning day into an eternal twilight where surface temperatures melt lead. A reminder that atmospheres can be both nurturers and veils, shaping worlds as surely as tides shape shores. These bodies move in elegant ellipses, governed by gravity's gentle embrace, their paths perturbed by mutual tugs that create resonances, like dance partners syncing steps over centuries. Think of the dance between Earth and Moon, where tidal forces slow our spin and quicken the satellite's recession by 3.8 centimeters a year, a subtle exchange that echoes the give and take in deep sleep, where body and mind yield to one another in quiet equilibrium. Beyond our solar system, exoplanets abound, over 5,000 discovered, from scorching hot Jupiters hugging their stars in days-long orbits to icy super-Earths in the habitable zones, where liquid water might pool under distant suns. Some, like those around red dwarfs, tidally locked with one side in perpetual day and the other in endless night, could harbour life in twilight bands, winds carrying warmth across the divide, fostering ecosystems that adapt to eternal gradients, much like how our own dreams blend light and shadow in seamless transitions. Missions like Kepler and TESS scan these worlds by watching stars dim as planets transit, a method revealing atmospheres through spectroscopy, hints of water vapor or methane, like faint scents on the breeze, suggesting that life might not be solitary, but a common thread woven through the cosmic fabric, waiting to be unraveled in the quiet of exploration. These distant realms invite us to wonder about rogue planets, untethered wanderers ejected from their systems, drifting through interstellar space in perpetual chill, warmed perhaps by internal heat from radioactive decay. Silent nomads that remind us of journeys taken alone, sustained by inner reserves. Or consider the role of moons, like Europa's subsurface ocean beneath cracked ice, heated by tidal flexing from Jupiter's grasp. A hidden sea where chemistry brews in darkness, potentially cradling simple life forms in briny depths, echoing how our subconscious thrives in the quiet undercurrents of the mind, unseen yet vital. Saturn's Titan, with its thick nitrogen atmosphere and methane lakes, mirrors early Earth conditions, hydrocarbon dunes, shifting like earthly sands under alien rains. A world where organic molecules dance in low gravity, hinting at prebiotic soups that could evolve under hazy skies, much like the fertile ground of imagination where ideas take root in stillness. In multi-planet systems, migrations shape architectures. Hot Jupiters may have wandered inward from outer orbits, scattering inner worlds or clearing paths for stable zones. Their gravitational shepherding creating compact resonances where planets huddle in mean motion harmonies, like a family holding close in a gentle current. The TRAPPIST-1 system, 7 Earth-sized worlds around a cool star, orbits in such tight synchrony that tidal heating warms their rocky surfaces, potentially allowing subsurface habitability despite stellar flares, a delicate balance that underscores how planetary families form resilient bonds, akin to the way shared routines in daily life provide comfort amid change, fostering growth in subtle, enduring ways. Ocean worlds, like those inferred around Kepler-62f, with thick water layers enveloping rocky cores, might sustain life in high-pressure abysses. Hydrothermal vents spewing minerals in the dark, ecosystems evolving without sunlight, reliant on tidal or radiogenic energy, a testament to life's adaptability in hidden realms, much like the resilience found in personal solitude, where inner strength blooms away from the glare. Asteroid belts and Kuiper objects, remnants of failed planet formation, orbit in debris disks that collide sporadically, delivering volatiles to inner worlds, perhaps seeding Earth's oceans through impacts that, while cataclysmic, brought the building blocks of life, a gentle reminder that disruption can sow fertility, like rain nourishing soil after drought. In protoplanetary systems observed by ALMA, asymmetric disks warped by unseen companions reveal planet sculpting in real time. Shadows and spirals tracing gravitational imprints, processes that unfold over millions of years, patient as the growth of ancient forests, inviting us to appreciate the unhurried artistry of cosmic construction. Lava worlds, such as those close to their stars like 55 Cancri E, boast molten surfaces glowing with heat, atmospheres of rock vapor rising and condensing in endless cycles, extreme environments where silicate magmas churn like earthly volcanoes, but on a planetary scale, hinting at the raw, formative energies that precede calmer epochs, much like the inner turbulence that precedes a peaceful resolution in moments of quiet introspection. Terrestrial planet formation models, incorporating pebble accretion, suggest rapid buildup in the inner disk where rocky materials aggregate swiftly, influenced by the snowline's position, beyond which ices form, enabling larger cores, a boundary that delineates gas giants from terrestrials, a subtle divide that shapes system diversity, echoing how small thresholds in life separate paths of profound difference, yet connect through shared origins. Circumplanetary disks around forming gas giants, inferred from moon systems, may birth satellites through similar accretion, where dust and ice coalesce under the planet's shadow, creating aligned orbits like those of Jupiter's Galilean moons. A secondary creation process that extends world-building to nested scales, much like the way personal aspirations branch into supporting endeavors, each layer adding depth to the central vision. Venusian analogues in other systems with runaway greenhouse effects demonstrate atmospheric tipping points where feedback loops amplify warming, a cautionary reflection on balance, yet also a showcase of resilience in extreme chemistry where sulfuric acid clouds cycle endlessly, sustaining a harsh equilibrium akin to the steadying influence of routine in turbulent times. Mini Neptunes, with puffy atmospheres of hydrogen over icy cores, bridge gas giants and terrestrials, their photoevaporation under stellar radiation, sculpting diverse profiles from bare rocks to hazy worlds, a transitional class that highlights the fluidity of planetary types, inviting contemplation on how intermediate states foster innovation, much like the liminal spaces in daily reflection where new perspectives gently emerge. Eyeball planets around red dwarfs, with liquid pools on the day side frozen on the night, could support microbial life in melt zones, where convection cells circulate nutrients, a focused habitability that mirrors the concentrated calm of focused breathing, sustaining vitality in constrained realms. Disrupted planets, like those with multiple moons from captured asteroids, orbit in irregular paths, their histories etched in compositional gradients, quiet records of gravitational encounters that add character without destabilizing, much like the enriching scars of lived experiences that deepen a sense of groundedness. Super-Earths with silicate mantles and iron cores, some with diamond rains under high pressure, exhibit magnetic dynamos generating protective fields, shielding atmospheres from stellar winds, a self-preserving mechanism that echoes the inner protections we build through mindful practices, fostering endurance in the face of external pressures. Hycean worlds, hydrogen-rich with underlying water oceans, offer temperate surfaces despite thick envelopes, their potential for biosignatures in spectral lines suggesting veiled habitability, like hidden gardens thriving beneath a soft canopy, where chemistry unfolds in buffered serenity, much like the way inner peace nurtures growth away from the world's harsher lights. Carbon planets, dominated by diamond and graphite from carbon-rich formation, might float light atmospheres over crystalline surfaces, their reflective facets catching faint stellar gleams, a jewel-like existence that speaks to the universe's capacity for varied expressions, akin to the multifaceted clarity that arises from prolonged, unhurried self-examination. Trojan planets, sharing stable Lagrange points with gas giants, co-orbit in triangular balances, their presence inferred in some systems through dynamical perturbations, quiet companions that enhance system stability, much like supportive friendships that maintain equilibrium in life's orbits without drawing the spotlight. Lava oceans on sub-Neptunes close to their stars could host exotic geochemistry, where molten rock interacts with atmospheres to form hybrid mantles, a dynamic interface that evolves slowly, evoking the transformative interfaces in personal development where outer challenges meet inner resolve, forging stronger wholes over time. Temperate sub-Neptunes in habitable zones, with clear atmospheres revealing water or ammonia signatures, might cradle floating ecosystems in upper layers, where gentle updrafts sustain delicate balances, a suspended habitability that mirrors the airy detachment in meditative states, where awareness floats above denser concerns to observe with clarity. Chapman's cycles on worlds with strong magnetic fields could regulate atmospheric chemistry through auroral precipitation, ionizing gases to form protective layers, a rhythmic renewal that stabilizes volatile environments, much like the cyclical renewal in breathing exercises that refresh the mind's atmosphere without effort. Eccentric planets, tracing elongated orbits that vary insolation, experience seasonal extremes softened by thermal inertia, their biospheres adapting through dormant phases, a resilient rhythm that echoes the ebb and flow in creative cycles, where fallow periods precede vibrant returns. Gas dwarf hybrids, intermediate masses retaining hydrogen envelopes, over rocky cores, orbit in diverse configurations, their hazy veils hinting at subsurface dynamics, quiet bridges between planetary extremes that invite wonder at nature's gradient artistry, akin to the blended shades in a sunset that ease the eye into twilight repose. Substellar companions, like hot brown dwarfs in wide orbits, blur planetary and stellar boundaries, with deuterium fusion flickering faintly, their atmospheres layered with metal hydrides that absorb light in infrared bands. A transitional warmth that evokes the dim glow of embers sustaining a quiet fire, bridging solitary worlds to luminous kinship. Ice giants like Uranus and Neptune analogues, with deep mantles of water, ammonia, and methane under hydrogen shells, tilt from formative impacts that reshaped their spins, their faint rings and shepherd moons maintaining delicate debris. A tilted poise that highlights the universe's allowance for off-axis grace. Much like the way an unexpected turn in a reflective path reveals fresh vistas without derailing the journey. Captured exomoons around rogue planets, inferred from dynamical stability in binary systems, might orbit in retrograde paths. Their origins from tidal ejections preserving volatile ices that could sustain subsurface warmth through eccentric heating. Quiet satellites that accompany nomads through the void, evoking the steadfast companions in solitary travels who provide silent balance amid the drift. Desert planets, stripped of volatiles by intense stellar radiation, preserve rocky cores with thin exospheres of sodium or potassium, their surfaces etched by sputtering winds that sculpt dunes over eons. Barren yet enduring landscapes that whisper of resilience in aridity, much like the sparse clarity of a minimalist thought that cuts through mental clutter to reveal essential truths in moments of quiet focus. Stars, those fiery hearts of the cosmos, deserve their own pause, for their lives are the universe's poetry in motion. Born from nebulae, vast clouds of gas that glow softly like morning mist, they ignite when pressure squeezes atoms together, fusing hydrogen into helium in a process called nuclear fusion. This releases light and heat, sustaining life across distances we can scarcely fathom. But the journey to birth is one of anticipation. In a molecular cloud, a passing supernova's shockwave or the pull of a nearby cluster compresses regions, causing chains of collapsing pockets where gravity wins over pressure, forming protostars that warm and contract over hundreds of thousands of years. Our Sun, a modest G-type main sequence star, emerged from such a nursery about 4.6 billion years ago. Its light now a steady companion that bathes Earth in just the right warmth, neither scorching like a blue giant, nor faint like a red dwarf. A star like our Sun has shone steadily and will continue for billions more, its life cycle a slow exhale. From vibrant youth, where solar winds sculpt the heliosphere like breaths shaping candle flames, to the quiet expansion of a red giant, where it will swell to envelop Mercury and Venus, its outer layers drifting away in a planetary nebula, leaving a white dwarf core to cool like embers in the night. Think of them as breaths in the universe's lungs, inhaling cosmic dust and exhaling light, connecting the birth of worlds to the dreams we chase in the night. Variable stars, pulsing with regularity, serve as cosmic clocks, their brightness dimming and flaring like heartbeats, helping astronomers measure distances to far-off clusters, reminding us that even in isolation, stars signal their presence, a gentle call across the void akin to the subconscious murmurs that weave through our own restful nights. Neutron stars, remnants of massive stars' explosive ends, pack the sun's mass into a sphere 20 kilometers wide, their surfaces magnetic fields twisting like auroras gone wild, accelerating particles to beam X-rays and gamma rays in pulsar spins that slow over eons, from milliseconds to lazy rotations. These dense spheres, where a teaspoon weighs billions of tons, challenge our sense of solidity. Their gravity so fierce, it warps light into fans, illuminating the universe's undercurrents. Brown dwarfs, failed stars too cool to fuse steadily, glow faintly in infrared, bridging giants and planets, their atmospheres roiling with silicate clouds, hinting at the blurred lines where one form yields to another, much like the hazy boundaries between wakefulness and sleep, where potential lingers unresolved. Binary stars orbiting each other in harmonious pairs exchange mass in quiet transfers, one swelling as the other shrinks, their eclipses casting predictable shadows that ancient peoples used for calendars, a testament to how stellar companionships mark time's passage with reliable grace, much like the steady rhythm of a partner's breathing beside us in the dark. Star clusters, both open and globular, gather siblings from shared nurseries. Open ones like the Pleiades dissolving over time as members wander, their blue hues fading to red as they age gracefully, while globulars, ancient spheres orbiting galactic halos, hold hundreds of thousands of stars in tight embrace, their dense cores brewing blue stragglers from collisions, rejuvenated lights in elderly gatherings. These clusters, visible as misty patches to the unaided eye, connect us to the Milky Way's history, their metallicities, ratios of heavy elements, tracing enrichment from supernovae, like pages in a cosmic diary recording the gradual building of complexity from simple beginnings. Hypervelocity stars, flung from galactic centers by black hole slingshots, streak through the halo at 1,000,000 kilometers per hour. Lone travelers escaping the disk, their origins a tale of close encounters that propel them into isolation, yet their paths curve back subtly under the galaxy's overarching pull, symbolizing how even the most wayward journeys remain tethered to home in the long arc of time. Stellar evolution in metal-poor environments like those of the first stars, population 3 giants that fused pristine hydrogen and helium, led to pair instability supernova, complete disruptions without remnants, dispersing seeds for subsequent generations, a pure cycle that cleared the way for diversity, much like the shedding of old habits to make room for renewed clarity in a peaceful evening reflection. Cataclysmic variables, closed binaries where white dwarfs accrete from companions, erupt in novae, thermonuclear flashes on their surfaces, repeating cycles that recycle material, illuminating the intricate partnerships that sustain stellar life beyond solitary paths, akin to the recurring themes in a lifelong friendship that deepen with each shared chapter. Massive stars in wolf riot phases shed outer layers in strong winds, exposing hot cores rich in carbon and oxygen, their spectra showing broad emission lines, like voices raised in harmonious effort, precursors to core collapse supernova that seed the cosmos with neutron-rich isotopes, forging gold in rapid neutron capture, a quiet alchemy that enriches the interstellar garden for future blooms. Asymptotic giant branch stars, pulsating with thermal pulses that dredge up S-process elements, slow neutron captures build in heavier nuclei, contribute to chemical evolution, their long tails of mass loss forming circumstellar envelopes that evolve into bipolar nebulae, sculpting beauty from expansion, much like the way extended reflections in solitude carve deeper wisdom from life's expansions. Subdwarfs, helium-burning stars in old clusters, glow steadily in ultraviolet, their compact lives bridging main sequence longevity with white dwarf fate. Quiet workers that populate galactic outskirts, their low metallicity preserving pristine compositions from the universe's middle age, evoking the enduring simplicity of core values that persist through change. Are Coronae Borealis stars, carbon-rich giants that dim abruptly from dust ejection, flicker like elusive lanterns, their irregular pulses a reminder of stellar variability's poetic unpredictability, where sudden veils of soot obscure light, only to reveal renewed brilliance, much like the intermittent clarity that arises in meditative pauses, unveiling layers beneath the surface. Symbiotic binaries, where red giants feed cool white dwarfs, create glowing nebulae from ionized outflows, a mutual sustenance that blends stellar types in luminous harmony, fostering extended envelopes that linger as planetary nebulae, a collaborative endgame that underscores the value of interdependence in cosmic narratives. Carbon stars, with atmospheres rich in soot and methane, pulse with long-period variability, their cool surfaces fostering molecular bands that color light red, quiet forges of organic precursors, much like the subtle chemistry of a simmering thought that builds complexity in the warmth of contemplation. B-stars, rapidly rotating B-types with decretion disks of plasma, eject material equatorially to form equatorial enhancements, their spectra showing emission lines from circumstellar gas, a dynamic equilibrium where spin shapes envelopes, akin to the way centered rotation in daily life balances energies, channeling them into creative flows without excess. O-type stars in young associations, the hottest and most luminous, drive feedback through winds exceeding 2,000 kilometers per second, carving cavities in natal clouds that trigger sequential formation, a pioneering role that initiates chains of creation, much like the initial spark of inspiration that invites a cascade of ideas in a tranquil brainstorming session. Yellow hypergiants, rare and unstable, swell to hundreds of solar radii with thin envelopes, their variability hinting at impending eruptions, luminous beacons that bridge main sequence stability and explosive ends, evoking the poised tension before a deep insight breaks through in quiet rumination. Luminous blue variables like Eta Carinae undergo dramatic ejections forming homunculus nebulae, twin lobes symmetric around the star, mass loss that sculpts their surroundings, a theatrical yet contained outburst that enriches the local medium, much like the expressive release in journaling that clears space for calmer reflections, leaving artistic traces in the process. Post-asymptotic giant branch stars, transitioning to white dwarfs, shed shells in pre-planetary phases, their central stars heating to ultraviolet excesses that ionize the ejector. A brief, hot flash illuminating the farewell, akin to the clarifying glow of final thoughts in a winding conversation, illuminating paths ahead with borrowed light. Mirror variables, long-period giants with amplitudes rivaling their size, pulse from thermal instabilities in convective zones, their radial expansions sending shockwaves through atmospheres to form silicon monoxide mesas, amplified radio emissions like cosmic echoes, guiding us to measure distances with precision, a rhythmic signal that connects stellar hearts to our observational reach. Much like the steady pulse of a distant drum drawing listeners into shared cadence, T-Tauri stars, pre-main sequence youths with strong magnetic fields, flare unpredictably from accretion hotspots, their disks pierced by bipolar outflows that clear paths for stable orbits. A youthful vigor that settles into maturity, evoking the playful energy of early ideas, refining into enduring concepts through gentle iteration. Red clump giants, helium-fusing stars in secondary phases, cluster at uniform luminosities in color magnitude diagrams, serving as standard candles for galactic mapping. Their steady glow a marker of horizontal branch evolution, quiet anchors that help trace the disk's structure, akin to familiar landmarks in a familiar landscape that orient without overwhelming the view. Delta Scuti variables, intermediate mass pulsators in the instability strip, oscillate from Kappa mechanisms where opacity fluctuations drive energy buildup. Their multi-periodic light curves a symphony of overtones, much like the layered harmonies in a soft melody that invite the ear to linger on subtle variations. ZZ Ceti, white dwarfs, cooling remnants with hydrogen atmospheres, G-mode pulsations from partial ionization zones, probe interiors through asteroseismology, revealing convective depths like gentle probes into hidden reservoirs, echoing the way quiet introspection uncovers inner layers without disturbance. FK Komai stars, rapidly rotating giants from binary mergers, show chromospheric activity with H-alpha emissions flaring like inner fires, their differential rotation shearing magnetic fields to sustained spots, a post-merger vitality that speaks to renewal from union, much like blended lives finding renewed energy in shared rhythms. Gamma Doradus stars, main sequence pulsators with G-modes from convective blocking, vary slowly over days, their low-amplitude light curves hinting at deep core processes, quiet indicators of internal flows that mirror the subtle undercurrents in a calm lake, where surface stillness conceals gentle circulations sustaining the whole. Cepheid variables, the golden standard for distance ladders, expand and contract with periods tied to luminosity, their light curves sharp rises and gradual falls like sighs of cosmic breathing, enabling calibrations that stretch our gaze to the Virgo cluster and beyond, a rhythmic reliability that anchors measurements in the expanding void, much like the dependable cadence of a familiar voice, guiding one through unfamiliar terrain with reassuring steadiness. Now, let the ocean deepen as we approach black holes, those enigmatic sinks where gravity grows so intense that not even light can escape. Formed from the collapsed cores of massive stars, those that burn through fuel in mere millions of years, exploding as supernovae that outshine galaxies for weeks. They warp space-time around them like a heavy stone pressing into a bedsheet, curving the paths of everything nearby. At its center lies the singularity, a point of infinite density where our understanding frays like the edge of a fading dream. Yet, black holes aren't devourers of all. They dance in binaries, pulling companions into glowing accretion disks where matter heats to millions of degrees, emitting jets of plasma that stretch light years, carving paths through interstellar space like rivers of fire in the cosmic dusk. Or consider the quiet supermassive ones, like the one in M87, imaged in 2019 as a glowing ring of light bending around its shadow, a donut of plasma orbiting at near light speeds. These holes influence galaxy formation, their gravity seeding the first stars by compressing gas in the early universe, acting as midwives to the light we see today. Mergers send gravitational waves rippling outward, detected by observatories like LIGO as chirps in the data, faint echoes of cataclysmic unions, billions of light-years away, traveling undisturbed through the cosmos, much like unspoken thoughts that traverse the mind in sleep, connecting distant realms without a sound. These waves, first detected in 2015, are the universe's subtle sighs, echoing the idea that even the mightiest forces move with a quiet grace, inviting us to listen in the stillness. Primordial black holes, theorized from the early universe's density peaks, might roam as dark matter candidates, evaporating slowly via Hawking radiation, virtual particles near the horizon becoming real, one popping free while the other falls in, causing the whole to shrink like ice melting in warm water. This quantum touch blurs the line between gravity's realm and the particle world, suggesting black holes whisper secrets of unification, where extreme conditions reveal the universe's hidden symmetries. In quasars, powered by supermassive black holes in distant galaxies, light from 13 billion years ago arrives as quasars blaze like beacons, their output rivaling trillions of suns, yet now quiescent, a testament to how activity ebbs like tides, leaving serene cores in their wake. Intermediate mass black holes, rarer still, lurk in globular clusters, formed from stellar collisions in dense environments, their presence inferred from star orbits that hint at hidden anchors, bridging small and vast scales in a continuum of gravitational artistry. Black hole information paradox, where quantum rules seem to clash with the event horizon's one-way nature, proposes that information isn't lost, but encoded on the surface, perhaps through holography, suggesting reality's depth emerges from boundary encodings, a profound shift in perspective that aligns with meditative insights, where surface appearances veil deeper truths. Dormant black holes in galactic suburbs, starved of fuel, wait in silence, their influence felt only through occasional flares when a star ventures too close, torn apart in tidal streams that light the sky briefly, like a quiet life punctuated by rare illuminating moments. Wandering black holes, ejected from clusters by asymmetric kicks during formation, may drift through intergalactic space, their isolation a stark contrast to the bustling cores they left. Yet gravitational waves from their rare encounters with gas clouds could betray their presence, faint signals in the cosmic hum that speak to solitude's subtle echoes. In active galactic nuclei, feedback from black hole accretion regulates host galaxy growth, expelling gas in outflows that suppress star formation, a self-limiting mechanism that maintains equilibrium, much like the body's own balances that foster health through restraint, ensuring long-term harmony over unchecked expansion. Kerr black holes, rotating with angular momentum, exhibit frame-dragging ergospheres that allow superradiance, waves amplified by extracting spin energy, potentially powering ultra-luminous sources observed in distant galaxies, quiet engines that convert rotation into radiant output, a process that underscores the efficient recycling inherent in cosmic mechanics, akin to the way a well-paced breath sustains vitality without excess. Firewalls, hypothetical barriers at horizons resolving paradoxes through high-energy emissions, challenge smooth spacetimes, but invite resolutions via entanglement islands, regions preserving information continuity, suggesting black holes as bridges rather than breaks, much like transitions in dreams, where one scene flows into the next, maintaining narrative flow beneath apparent shifts. Stellar mass black holes in X-ray binaries, like Cygnus X1, accrete from hot companions, their disks flaring in soft states or quenching in hard, revealing thermal and non-thermal spectra that map inner flows, where quasi-periodic oscillations hint at orbital instabilities near the innermost stable circular orbit, a rhythmic signature of boundary dances that echo the subtle pulses of contemplation. Microquasars, scaled-down analogues with relativistic jets, mimic supermassive behaviors on small scales, their outbursts tracing accretion variability, offering laboratories for understanding larger phenomena, much like miniature gardens that preview the patterns of expansive landscapes, nurturing insights in contained spaces. Naked singularities, theorized in over-spinning holes where horizons fail to form, expose raw infinities, though cosmic censorship hypotheses cloak them in event horizons, preserving the universe's gentle veil, a protective layer that aligns with the way profound mysteries unfold gradually, layer by layer in tranquil revelation. Black hole shadows cast by the Event Horizon Telescope extend to polarized light observations, revealing magnetic fields threading the photon ring, a twisted crown that guides plasma flows, hinting at the ordered chaos near the edge, much like the structured undercurrents in a calm river that direct its steady course. Spaghettification near horizons stretches objects along radial lines, a tidal gradient that disassembles before crossing. Yet for supermassive cases, the process eases, allowing hypothetical falls with finite proper time, a softening of extremes that invites reflection on how gravity's grasp can be both insistent and accommodating, much like the way deep emotions pull us inward, yet allow gentle navigation through their depths. ADS. Black holes in anti-de Sitter spaces, theoretical constructs for holography, evaporate faster due to boundary conditions, their dynamics mirroring quantum field theories on the edge, a duality that suggests hidden symmetries in collapse, akin to the way surface calm in meditation reveals underlying harmonies of the mind. Reissner-Nordstrom charged black holes, with electric fields balancing gravity, feature inner and outer horizons, potential sites for Cauchy horizons where predictability breaks, yet stability analyses show perturbations grow, a delicate instability that underscores the universe's preference for smooth resolutions, much like the way unresolved tensions in thought gently dissipate in prolonged stillness. Black hole bombs, super-radiant instabilities around spinning holes, could amplify fields exponentially if confined, though astrophysical realities dampen them, a contained potential that echoes the bottled energy of focused intent, released gradually to avoid overwhelm. Thorne-Zhitkov objects, hypothetical hybrids of neutron stars inside red supergiant envelopes, might fuse steadily at low rates, their spectra blending signatures, quiet anomalies that probe stellar interiors, much like the blended influences in a long-term collaboration that yield unique outcomes without fanfare. Echoes in gravitational wave signals from ring-down phases, modeled as quasi-normal modes, reveal horizon properties, subtle vibrations that linger after merger, akin to the fading resonances of a struck bell, carrying encoded tales of the union in their decay. Supermassive black hole binaries, inferred from dual quasar pairs, precess under mutual talks before coalescing. They're in spiral detectable through pulsar timing arrays as low-frequency nanohertz waves, a slow gravitational hum that maps the universe's merger history, much like the distant rumble of thunder that foretells a gentle rain preparing the Earth for renewal. hairy black holes, theoretical extensions with scalar fields, or topological defects around horizons might resolve paradoxes by storing information externally. A fuzzy boundary that softens the event's edge, evoking the way personal boundaries flex to accommodate growth while preserving core integrity. Blazars, aligned jets from supermassive holes beaming toward us, vary on timescales of minutes, implying compact emission regions near the horizon. Their gamma-ray flares a direct line to extreme physics, quiet messengers that bridge cosmic distances with intimate detail, akin to a whispered secret carried on the wind to reach the ear precisely. Intermediate mass black hole candidates in ultra-luminous X-ray sources with luminosities exceeding Eddington limits suggest super-Eddington accretion or beamed emission, their environments in star-forming regions hinting at runaway mergers in dense clusters. A stepwise growth that builds mass quietly, much like incremental habits forming a resilient character over time. Primordial black hole clusters, if surviving inflation, could roam as diffuse halos, their micro-lensing events transiting stars to reveal shadows, subtle occlusions that map unseen populations, evoking the faint imprints of distant memories surfacing in calm reflection. Rotating black hole ergo regions, where negative energy orbits allow energy extraction, power phenomena like Blandford-Znajek processes in magnetized holes, twisting fields to launch jets along spin axes. A rotational harvest that sustains outflows without infall, akin to drawing sustenance from inner momentum in poised stillness. Page curve for evaporating holes, rising then falling to preserve unitarity, traces entanglement entropy across the horizon, a narrative arc that resolves loss into recovery, much like the way forgotten details resurface in dreams, restoring wholeness to fragmented recollections. Ergosphere instabilities in near-extremal Kerr holes, where super-radiant modes accumulate to form boson clouds, could drive precessing signals detectable in future waves. A quantum buildup that hints at hidden oscillations, like the accumulating whispers in a hushed gathering that build towards subtle consensus without clamor. Traversable wormholes, stabilized by exotic negative energy densities, might connect distant spacetimes, their throats flaring like gentle portals, theoretical passages that evoke the seamless shifts in lucid dreaming, where one vista opens fluidly into another, fostering a sense of boundless connectivity without the jolt of discontinuity. Surrounding these wonders are nebulae, the birthplaces and graveyards of stars, colorful veils of ionized gas that span light years. The Orion Nebula, visible to the naked eye on clear nights, is a stellar nursery where new suns flicker to life amid pillars of dust, sculpted by stellar winds that erode like soft rain on sandcastles. Like breaths fogging a window on a cold morning, nebulae diffuse light into soft hues, reds from hydrogen, blues from oxygen, painting the sky with poetry. Deeper still, the Crab Nebula, remnant of a supernova seen in 1054, pulses with a neutron star at its heart, spinning 30 times a second and beaming radio waves like a lighthouse in the fog, its filaments expanding at half the speed of light, a slow unraveling that will one day disperse into the interstellar medium, enriching it for future generations. They remind us that creation and dissolution are intertwined, much like the cycles of sleep where endings birth new dawns. Planetary nebulae, shed by dying sun-like stars, form delicate shells that glow for tens of thousands of years, their shapes like butterfly wings or hourglasses, symbolizing the fleeting yet beautiful passage from one state to another. In these clouds, elements forged in stellar cores, carbon for diamonds, oxygen for breath, return to the cycle, ensuring that the atoms in your body were once part of such cosmic artistry, circulating like shared air in a vast, breathing expanse. Reflection, nebulae, untouched by ionization, simply scatter starlight in blue-tinged glows, quiet observers that highlight nearby illuminations without fanfare, akin to the way moonlight reflects on still water, enhancing the night's peace without dominating it. Dark nebulae, silhouetted against brighter backdrops, absorb light to form horsehead shapes or vast lanes, cool reservoirs of raw material awaiting the next gravitational nudge, patient shadows that cradle potential like the hush before a story begins. Emission nebulae in active regions like the Carina Nebula host massive stars whose ultraviolet light ionizes surrounding gas, creating expansive bubbles that push outward slowly, compressing edges to spark new clusters. A chain reaction of genesis where one light kindles many, much like a single kind word, rippling through a conversation to inspire further warmth. Protoplanetary disks within these nurseries, observed edge-on as shadows against stellar glow, reveal gaps carved by growing planets, their dust grains aligning to scatter light in polarized patterns, offering glimpses of world-building in progress, serene processes that parallel the gradual formation of habits in a tranquil routine. Supernova remnants like the Veil Nebula, tattered sheets from an ancient blast, expand into intricate filaments that cool over millennia, their shockwaves accelerating cosmic rays. High-energy particles that permeate space, seeding mutations and perhaps life's origins. A legacy of violence softened into nurturing whispers across the void. Infrared views of nebulae unveil embedded protostars, their warmth penetrating dust to reveal the hidden phases of gestation, where jets of gas pierce the cocoon like tentative breaths, clearing paths for emergence, evoking the quiet labor of birth in nature's grand theatre. Herbig-Haro objects, bright knots from these jets colliding with ambient gas, glow in forbidden emission lines. Transitions rare in lab conditions, but common in low-density space, marking the energetic yet contained outbursts of youth, like the soft exclamations of a child testing voice in a hushed room, gradually finding harmony with surroundings. Bok globules, compact dark clouds collapsing under self-gravity, birth low-mass stars in isolation, their evolutionary paths leading to embedded infrared sources that warm interiors, a solitary genesis that highlights the universe's capacity for independent creation, much like personal insights arising in moments of quiet withdrawal. Molecular hydrogen in photodissociation regions, where ultraviolet light breaks bonds, but deeper layers reform them, sustains the chemistry of star formation, a resilient cycle that buffers against radiation, fostering the dense cores where gravity takes hold, akin to the inner resilience that allows reflection to flourish amid external distractions. Proplyds in Orion, photoevaporating disks around young stars, erode under massive neighbors' radiation, yet protect central nurseries, a delicate standoff that permits survival, much like the protective boundaries in thoughtful solitude that safeguard emerging ideas from overwhelming influences. Helix nebula's cometary knots, finger-like structures in the planetary shell, trail ionized gas tails pointing from the central star, relics of instabilities in the expanding envelope, intricate details that add texture to the fading glow. evoking the fine threads of memory that linger in the mind's quiet recesses, enriching the narrative of passage. Reflection. Nebulae around young associations, like those in the Pleiades, dust lanes scattering blue light from hot companions, create foreground glows that frame the cluster's jewels, a subtle enhancement that deepens the visual poetry, much like the ambient light of a bedside lamp that softens the room's edges for restful reading. Elephant trunks in IC 1396, dense pillars resisting erosion from embedded stars, harbor-forming protostars at tips, where triggered collapse initiates new cycles, a nurturing resistance that perpetuates life amid dissolution, akin to the way resilient thoughts endure through challenges to seed fresh understandings. Lagoon Nebula's hourglass shape, bisected by dark dust, glows with open clusters at its heart, a fertile valley where ionization fronts advance like slow dawns, illuminating successive layers of gas, much like the progressive revelation in a long, unhurried dialogue that uncovers depths step by step. Gum Nebula, a vast superbubble from multiple supernovae, expands at 20 kilometers per second, its shell a faint arc encompassing the Vela pulsar, a communal remnant that binds the region's history. Quiet evidence of shared origins in explosive harmony. Trifid Nebula's three-lobed structure, divided by dark lanes against glowing gas, hosts embedded clusters where young stars pierce the veil, a tripartite beauty that balances light and shadow, evoking the harmonious interplay of contrasts in a balanced life, where divisions foster distinct yet connected growth. Eagle Nebula's finger-like evaporating gaseous globules, tips glowing from internal protostars, stand as sentinels against the stellar onslaught, resilient forms that protect nascent lights, much like the shielding calm one cultivates to nurture emerging potentials amid life's brighter pressures. Rosette Nebula's central cavity, hollowed by a young cluster's winds, frames a blooming rose of ionized hydrogen, its outer rim compressing to birth more stars, a floral expansion that symbolizes renewal from within, akin to the way inner quiet blooms outward into gentle expressions of creativity. Witch Head Nebula, a reflection cloud shaped by passing through the Orion Arm, scatters blue light from nearby hot stars, its cometary form a gentle distortion from ram pressure, a wandering veil that adds ethereal texture to the stellar field, much like the soft distortions in a dream where familiar scenes shift subtly to reveal new angles. Pelican Nebula, adjacent to North America, glows in red hydrogen with dark bays interrupting the flow, an avian silhouette where embedded Herbig-Haro flows mark active youth. Quiet nurseries that blend into the broader tapestry, evoking the way personal stories nest within larger narratives, each contributing unique contours to the whole. Cone Nebula's towering pillar, a dense column resisting ionization, tapers to a point where a protostar brews, its shadow casting a dark triangle against the emission glow, a steadfast form amid expansive change, much like the anchored presence of core beliefs that hold firm as surrounding thoughts evolve. Cat's Eye Nebula, a planetary remnant with concentric shells from variable mass loss, reveals a central binary driving asymmetric ejections, its intricate morphology like layered petals unfolding, a testament to episodic shedding that crafts beauty from irregularity, akin to the way life's varied releases shape a soul's gentle contours over time. Ring Nebula's toroidal structure, expanding from a hot central star, shows knots of denser gas resisting dispersal, faint beads along the equator preserving the envelope's memory, quiet relics that whisper of the star's final breaths, much like lingering scents in a room after a peaceful departure, evoking continuity in farewell. Bubble Nebula's spherical shell, inflated by a massive star's wind against ambient clouds, encloses a hot core that ionizes the interior, a contained expansion that nurtures isolation within vibrancy, mirroring how personal space amid activity allows inner growth to flourish undisturbed. Pac-Man Nebula's bow-shaped arc, eroded by stellar winds into a pacifying form, harbors embedded clusters where young stars illuminate the gas from within, a playful silhouette that softens the ionization front's advance, much like the way a gentle smile diffuses tension in a quiet exchange, allowing warmth to spread without force. Cygnus Loop's filamentary web, a vast supernova remnant spanning 3 degrees of sky, cools into radio-emitting sheets that trace shock interactions with clouds, a sprawling legacy that envelops multiple associations, evoking the encompassing threads of a shared history that bind disparate elements into cohesive serenity. Barnard's Loop, a faint arc in the Orion Spur, likely a remnant from a supernova 2 million years ago, encircles vast regions with its diffuse glow, interacting with molecular clouds to compress and ignite new stars along its path, a lingering influence that gently stirs the local medium, much like an old story echoing through generations, quietly inspiring fresh tales without overshadowing them. Time, that elusive river flowing through it all, bends in the presence of mass and speed. Einstein's relativity teaches us it's not a straight line, but a dimension woven into space, stretching near black holes where hours for one traveler might span years for another. Imagine time as the tide of this ocean, ebbing slower in deep gravity wells, allowing distant events to unfold in languid slow motion. On cosmic scales, the universe is 13.8 billion years old, its expansion accelerating like a dream, accelerating toward wakefulness, driven by dark energy, a mysterious force pushing galaxies apart at increasing speeds, so that beyond a certain horizon they'll recede faster than light, fading into isolation. Yet time also heals and reveals. Cosmic microwave background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, bathes us in a uniform 2.7 Kelvin chill, its tiny fluctuations mapping the seeds of structure we see today, like faint imprints left by a receding wave on wet sand. For us on Earth, time's arrow points forward through entropy's gentle increase, from ordered stars to diffuse gas, mirroring how a day's worries dissolve into the peace of night. Near a neutron star, time dilates so profoundly that a second there equals minutes elsewhere, a reminder that our perception of duration is but a local current in the greater flow, flexible and forgiving, much like how sleep stretches moments into vast landscapes of reverie. In everyday life, we feel time's relativity too. The way a watched clock crawls during anticipation, or hours vanish in absorbed reading, echoing how velocity near light speed contracts length and expands time for cosmic voyages. GPS satellites orbiting high must account for weaker gravity, speeding their clocks by 45 microseconds daily, balanced against velocities slowing. A practical nod to theory's elegance, keeping our maps true. On grander scales, the look-back time to distant quasars shows the universe young and wild, its light red-shifted by expansion, like echoes deepening in a canyon, inviting us to ponder how our now is but a fleeting ripple in eternity's stream. The twin paradox, where a traveler ages slower than their stay-at-home sibling, illustrates this bend, not contradiction, but harmony, suggesting that journeys, whether through space or introspection, alter our temporal paths in ways that enrich rather than divide. Frame dragging, where rotating masses twist spacetime around them like a spoon stirring honey, adds another layer, as seen in Earth's geodetic effect, measured by gravity probe B. A slow precession that confirms general relativity's predictions, showing how even our planet imparts a gentle spin to the cosmic fabric, a subtle vortex that influences satellite paths and reminds us of time's malleable dance. In black hole vicinities, this effect accelerates in falling matter into frame-dragging winds, creating ergospheres where extraction of rotational energy is possible, powering phenomena like the Penrose process, where particles split to borrow energy from the whole spin, a quiet transaction that sustains the universe's energy flow, much like drawing breath from the calm air of evening to fuel thoughtful repose. Quantum corrections to time-near singularities might resolve infinities through stringy effects, where extra dimensions compactify to smooth the path, hinting at a finite, breathable core beneath the apparent abyss, aligning with the way profound questions in meditation yield to expansive clarity. Cosmological time, measured from recombination era when light first traveled free, 380,000 years post-Big Bang, unfolds in epochs, from radiation-dominated youth to matter's reign, now yielding to dark energy's subtle dominance, a progression that mirrors personal growth from intensity to balanced repose, each phase building on the last in unhurried succession. Baryon acoustic oscillations, imprints in galaxy distributions from sound waves in the early plasma, serve as standard rulers across cosmic time, their scale frozen at recombination, allowing measurements of expansion history, like echoes measured in a vast hall, to gauge its dimensions, providing a rhythmic baseline that tunes our understanding of the universe's tempo. Proper time for photons, null geodesics with no aging, contrasts with our ticking clocks, underscoring light's eternal journey as a bridge between eras, carrying unaltered tales from quasar births to our present gaze, a timeless messenger that invites us to align our inner pace with its unyielding flow. In quantum gravity approaches like causal dynamical triangulation, time emerges from discrete space-time foams, a granular structure at Planck scales that smooths into continuity, suggesting duration as an approximation born from causal links, much like the illusion of smooth motion in a film from sequential frames, fostering a view where time's fluidity arises from deeper, interconnected order. Conformal time in cosmology, rescaling proper time to simplify light propagation, reveals the universe's causal structure as a light cone lattice, where events connect through null paths, a geometric elegance that underpins horizon formation, much like the invisible lines of affinity that link moments in a life story, weaving continuity from disparate threads. Haefele-Keating experiment, flying atomic clocks on airplanes, confirmed relativistic time dilation in practice, with eastward flights slowing relative to westward due to velocity and gravity interplay, a tangible demonstration that time's fabric yields to motion's gentle insistence, echoing how travel through inner landscapes alters the rhythm of perception. In loop quantum cosmology, Big Bang singularities resolve into bounces, where contracting phases rebound into expansion, time threading through without rupture, a cyclic resilience that softens origins, inviting a sense of eternal continuity, much like the seamless return of night after day. Shapiro delay. The extra timelight takes bending around massive bodies, measured in radar echoes from Venus past the Sun, quantifies gravitational lensing's temporal cost, a subtle lag that refines our clocks, much like the measured pauses in speech that allow ideas to settle deeply. Gravitational redshift in white dwarf spectra, where escaping photons lose energy climbing potential wells, stretches wavelengths like voices fading uphill, a universal signature that ties stellar graves to temporal flow, reminding us how effort shapes expression in the quiet ascent of understanding. Chronometry in neutron star binaries, where orbital periods decay from gravitational radiation, provides clean tests of relativity, the emitted waves carrying angular momentum away like sighs releasing tension, a harmonious decay that aligns theory with observation in serene precision. Pound-Rebka experiment, using gamma rays up Harvard's tower, verified redshift in Earth's weak field, a micro-scale echo of cosmic effects, showing time's bend even in familiar gravity, much like how small daily choices accumulate to subtly shift life's trajectory. Time crystals, periodic structures in time rather than space, emerge in driven quantum systems where patterns repeat without energy input, a rhythmic persistence that challenges equilibrium, hinting at time's potential for self-sustaining dances, akin to the habitual rhythms in meditation that perpetuate calm without effort. Synchrotron radiation from relativistic electrons in magnetic fields, like those around pulsars, redshifts with distance, a temporal signature that maps acceleration histories, quiet traces that weave time's fabric into observable threads. Wick rotation in quantum field theory transforms time to imaginary axes for Euclidean calculations, smoothing path integrals into convergent forms, a mathematical grace that resolves temporal complexities, much like shifting perspective in reflection to view challenges as navigable landscapes rather than barriers. Relational time in quantum mechanics, where clocks emerge from entangled systems, suggests duration as a correlation between observers, a shared construct that fosters unity, evoking the synchronized flow in group contemplations where individual moments align into collective timelessness. Tachyonic fields, hypothetical faster-than-light propagators in some cosmologies, might seed inflation through unstable vacua, their imaginary masses driving exponential growth before settling, a brief inversion that births expansion, akin to the inverted calm before a deep insight inverts doubt into assurance. Thermodynamic time, rooted in the second law's entropy growth, emerges from statistical mechanics where microstates multiply toward disorder. Yet in closed systems like the universe, this arrow might curve back in recollapse models, a potential reversal that softens finality, much like the way evening reflections cycle worries into resolved peace, allowing renewal in the hush. Decoherence in quantum systems, where environmental interactions suppress superpositions, establishes classical time's flow from probabilistic haze, a gradual emergence that aligns quantum whispers with macroscopic persistence, echoing how scattered thoughts cohere into narrative clarity during unhurried contemplation. Emergent time in holographic models, arising from radial evolution in boundary theories, suggests duration as a projection from causal networks, a derived elegance that unifies scales, much like the way a story's timeline emerges from interwoven events, binding disparate moments into flowing continuity. gravitational time in scalar tensor theories, where varying constants modulate clocks, allows evolving rates that mimic dark energy behaviors. A flexible measure that adapts to cosmic phases, akin to the adjustable pace of breath in yoga, harmonizing with the body's changing needs. Page time for black hole evaporation, when entropy peaks before information recovery, marks a turning point in quantum evaporation, a midpoint hush where quantum effects dominate. Much like the pivotal pause in a reflective journey, where accumulated insights begin to distill into clearer wisdom, guiding the path forward with renewed simplicity. Contraction phases in cyclic cosmologies, where gravity gathers matter into dense states before rebounding, allow time to loop through cooling and reheating, a rhythmic compression that refreshes the expanse, much like the inward draw of exhalation in deep breathing, gathering energy for the outward release that expands awareness. Matter, the building blocks of this tapestry, comes in forms both ordinary and unseen. Atoms, made of protons, neutrons, and electrons, form everything from planets to our very bodies, their bonds creating molecules that dance in quantum harmony. But most of the universe, about 95%, is dark matter and dark energy, invisible scaffolds holding galaxies together. Dark matter, inferred from how stars orbit too swiftly without flying apart, acts like an unseen current in the ocean, guiding the flow without revealing itself. Its particles, perhaps WIMPs or axions, passing through us undetected, a ghostly presence that clumps in halos around galaxies. Their gravity lends light from behind, bending images into arcs like mirages in desert air. Quantum mechanics, the realm of the infinitesimally small, governs these particles. Electrons orbiting nuclei in probability clouds, not fixed paths, as if matter itself dreams of multiple realities. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle ensures we can't pin down position and momentum precisely, a fundamental fuzziness that allows tunneling, particles slipping through barriers as if walking through mist, powering nuclear fusion in stars and perhaps even chemical reactions in our cells. This quantum realm connects to the macro world through entanglement, where paired particles remain linked, their states mirroring instantly, as if sharing a secret whisper across voids, challenging our notions of separation and inviting wonder at the interconnectedness that binds the cosmos like threads in a dreamweaver's loom. Baryonic matter, the everyday stuff, cycles through stars and space, from plasma in galaxy clusters, hot gas at 100 million degrees, emitting X-rays like distant campfires, to cold molecular clouds birthing worlds. Antimatter, its mirror, annihilates on contact, releasing pure energy, yet traces linger in cosmic rays, hinting at production in thunderstorms or near black holes. A balance of creation and opposition that underscores the universe's delicate poise. In laboratories, we glimpse exotic states like Bose-Einstein condensates, atoms cooled to near absolute zero, merging into a single quantum wave, behaving as one. A microcosm of unity, where individuality dissolves into collective grace, much like the shared silence of a sleeping world. Quark-gluon plasma, recreated in accelerators to mimic Big Bang conditions, flows like a perfect fluid with minimal viscosity, suggesting early matter's fluidity, a state where particles lose distinction, flowing toward complexity as the universe cools, akin to how thoughts coalesce from diffuse inspirations into coherent narratives during quiet contemplation. Neutrinos, nearly massless messengers streaming from the sun's core, 300 trillion passing through your body every second without interaction. Traverse space almost unimpeded, oscillating flavors en route to reveal their quantum nature, a testament to matter's elusive side, carrying stellar secrets across voids like unspoken letters delivered in the night. Strange matter, hypothesized in neutron star interiors, where up, down, and strange quarks form stable hybrids denser than atomic nuclei, might stabilize exotic stars, challenging collapse to black holes and offering windows into high-pressure realms where ordinary rules soften, much like the way profound stillness reveals inner depths previously concealed. Magnetic monopoles, predicted by grand unified theories as isolated north or south poles, could roam from the early universe. Their scarcity a puzzle that, if found, would unify electromagnetism with other forces, a singular presence that echoes the focused calm of a meditative breath, simplifying the complex. Dark energy's nature, possibly vacuum energy from quantum fields fluctuating eternally, drives acceleration with a constant density, unchanging as space grows, a persistent undercurrent that ensures the universe's openness, inviting endless exploration without closure, much like the horizon of a dream that recedes invitingly. Sterile neutrinos, proposed extensions to the particle family, might contribute to dark matter through feeble interactions, their masses bridging Keevi scales for warm dark matter candidates, influencing structure formation on galactic scales, a subtle variant that tempers the cold dark matter model's sharp cusps, smoothing the cosmic canvas in ways that align with observed dwarf galaxy distributions, evoking the gentle adjustments in a long conversation that refine understanding without altering its core. Glue balls, hypothetical bound states of gluons in quantum chromodynamics, could manifest in high-energy collisions, fleeting composites that hint at the strong force's self-interaction, a hidden layer of matter's architecture where color charges confine without quarks, much like the unspoken bonds that hold communities together in quiet solidarity. Chiral matter, where left and right-handed particles differ under weak interactions, underlies parity violation in nature. From beta decay to biomolecular handedness, a fundamental asymmetry that seeds life's preference for left-handed amino acids. A quiet bias that echoes through biology like a preferred melody in an otherwise symmetric symphony. Technicolor theories, positing new strong dynamics at TeV scales, generate masses without Higgs-like scalars, producing composite particles that mimic standard model behaviors, a deeper layer of matter's self-organization, much like the emergent patterns in a calm sea, where waves arise from underlying currents, sustaining surface complexity with profound simplicity. Fractional quantum Hall effect in two-dimensional electron gases reveals quasi-particles with exotic statistics, anyons that braid in non-trivial ways, hinting at topological matter phases where information stores robustly against noise, a quantum resilience that parallels the enduring clarity of insights gained in serene reflection, protected by structural elegance. Majorana fermions, self-conjugate particles theorized in superconductors, could enable fault-tolerant quantum computing through non-local encoding, bridging matter's quantum states to practical harmonies, much like the way balanced thoughts integrate opposites to foster inner peace. Pentaquarks, fleeting combinations of 5 quarks observed in particle decays, challenge simple hadron models, revealing intricate binding in charmed states, a momentary complexity that enriches the particle zoo, akin to the nuanced layers in a reflective essay that deepen its resonance without overwhelming the reader. Supersymmetric partners, hypothetical twins to standard particles with spin flipped, might stabilize the Higgs mass against quantum corrections, their absence in colliders prompting refined searches, a quest for symmetry that mirrors the balancing act in personal equilibrium, where unseen supports maintain poise. Excitons in semiconductors, bound electron-hole pairs, mediate light-matter interactions in quantum dots, enabling coherent control for optoelectronics, a gentle coupling that harnesses quantum effects for tangible light, much like the way subtle inspirations illuminate daily paths with quiet efficiency. Skyamians, topological solitons in magnetic materials, stabilize as particle-like twists in spin textures, resisting dissipation for potential data storage, a knotted persistence that echoes the enduring swirls in a meditative mandala, where form holds meaning through intricate, unyielding patterns. Phonons, quantized lattice vibrations, carry heat and sound in solids, their interactions with electrons enabling superconductivity in some materials, a vibrational harmony that conducts without loss, akin to the smooth flow of breath in yoga, where subtle waves propagate clarity through the body. Witten's supersymmetric solitons in gauge theories, bridging particles and fields, suggest unified descriptions where matter emerges from field configurations, a conceptual elegance that softens the divide between discrete and continuous, much like the way fragmented thoughts merge into fluid understanding in prolonged stillness. Axionic dark matter, with ultralight bosons cohering into Bose condensates, oscillates as fuzzy waves that suppress small-scale structure, a wave-like veil that smooths cusps in halos, evoking the undulating calm of ocean swells that cradle rather than crash, fostering larger formations with gentle persistence. Preons, hypothetical subquark constituents in composite models, might underpin generational structure, their bindings yielding the observed families, a deeper nesting that invites contemplation on matter's recursive depths, much like the way foundational principles layer into complex philosophies through iterative reflection. K-meson decays revealing CP violation, where matter slightly outproduces antimatter, hints at leptogenesis mechanisms in the early universe, a subtle imbalance that allowed baryons to prevail, a quiet favoritism that echoes through cosmic history like a preferred path in a branching river, ensuring the flow toward complexity we inhabit. Rydberg atoms, highly excited states with large orbits, interact via dipole forces to form blockaded ensembles, useful for quantum simulation, an expanded realm where electron clouds brush like distant whispers, much like the extended reach of empathy in quiet conversations that connect without intrusion. Topological insulators, conducting on surfaces while insulating within, host protected edge states immune to backscattering, a boundary conductance that suggests matter's potential for lossless flow, akin to the unhindered stream of awareness in focused mindfulness, where surface interactions channel energy efficiently. Dyson spheres, hypothetical megastructures around stars to harvest energy, remain undetected but inspire searches for infrared excesses, quiet testaments to advanced civilizations' subtle engineering, much like the understated infrastructures of daily life that support flourishing without fanfare. Ferroelectric materials with spontaneous polarizations switchable by fields enable memory devices through domain walls, a polar harmony that stores information in aligned grains, evoking the polarized focus in contemplative states where thoughts align to retain clarity amid flux. Magnons, quantized spin waves in ferromagnets, propagate information coherently at room temperature, their dispersion relations allowing tunable wavelengths, a spin-based communication that whispers through lattices, much like the subtle signals in a shared glance that convey understanding without words. Whale semimetals with linear band touchings at whale nodes exhibit chiral anomaly effects, where parallel electric and magnetic fields pump charge, a topological current that defies classical expectations, a matter phase where handedness drives flow, akin to the directed calm in purposeful breathing that channels energy inward for renewal. Vortices in superfluids, quantized circulation around singular cores, mimic cosmic strings on microscales, their stability a quantum echo of large-scale defects, much like the persistent eddies in a stream that shape the water's path without altering its overall serenity. Dilatons, scalar fields modulating couplings in string-inspired models, could vary matter's interactions across cosmic history, a breathing flexibility that adapts strengths gently, evoking the way life's constants shift subtly to accommodate growth, fostering harmony in evolution. Plasmons, collective oscillations of electron density in metals, couple light to nanoscale volumes, enabling enhanced sensing where tiny shifts in refractive index reveal molecular presences, a resonant amplification that mirrors the heightened sensitivity in meditative attunement, where subtle inner shifts amplify awareness of the surrounding quiet. And so, we arrive at infinity, the boundless expanse where the universe may stretch forever or curve back on itself like an endless loop of sleep. Observations suggest it's flat and infinite, with no edge, yet finite in observable bounds, 93 billion light-years across, limited by light's finite speed since the Big Bang. Infinity invites philosophy. If the cosmos is unending, so too might our potential for wonder be, echoing the infinite layers of a dream within a dream. In multiverse theories, our universe is one bubble in foam, each with different constants, some barren, others teeming, arising from quantum fluctuations in eternal inflation, a process where space expands ceaselessly, birthing realities like seeds scattering in wind. Yet even in infinity, patterns emerge, fractal-like distributions of galaxies, repeating on scales from clusters to superclusters, suggesting a self-similar beauty, like waves within waves on an ocean's surface. The void between, the cosmic web's filaments and voids, spans billions of light-years, empty yet pregnant with possibility, where future stars might ignite from stray atoms. This endlessness cradles us, not overwhelming but enveloping, much like the night sky over a quiet field, stars infinite yet comforting in their distance. The observable universe's edge isn't a wall, but a horizon, beyond which more unfolds unseen, a gentle boundary that encourages imagination, as if the cosmos extends an invitation to dream beyond the visible, where infinity meets the infinite potential of the mind. Cyclic models propose universes bouncing through phases of expansion and contraction, each cycle refining the laws, like breaths in an eternal meditation, suggesting infinity not as static but rhythmic, a perpetual unfolding that aligns with the universe's observed flatness and the fine-tuning of constants that allows stars, planets, and life to emerge. The arrow of time in infinite space might loop in closed time-like curves near cosmic strings, theoretical defects from the early universe, thin as atoms but massive as stars, potentially allowing gentle traversals of past and future, though stability remains a puzzle, evoking the recursive nature of dreams where moments revisit in softened forms. In an infinite cosmos, every possible configuration repeats, from exact Earth duplicates to variations where histories diverge slightly, a philosophical expanse that dissolves uniqueness into multiplicity, yet affirms our singular experience as a precious thread in the weave, much like a single breath in the vast quiet of night. Boltzmann brains, hypothetical self-aware entities arising from thermal fluctuations in eternal voids, pose a thought experiment on probability, suggesting that in infinity, fleeting consciousness might outnumber evolved minds. Yet our coherent narrative prevails, a comforting anchor in the probabilistic sea, reminding us of the beauty in sustained, connected awareness. Topological defects like domain walls, where phase transitions in the early universe left mismatched regions, could divide infinite space into pockets with varying properties, subtle barriers that, if thin enough, allow tunneling between realms, a quiet permeability that softens the boundaries of possibility, much like the fluid transitions between sleep stages, where one state flows into the next without rupture. Eternal inflation's landscape, with 500 possible vacua from string theory moduli stabilization, populates the multiverse with diverse bubbles, each realizing different physics, a vast ensemble where anthropic selection explains outtuned constants, fostering a sense of place within boundless variety, akin to finding one's niche in an expansive world, where differences enrich rather than isolate. Holographic multiverses, where higher dimensional brains collide to spawn universes, suggest our reality as a projection from bulk dynamics, infinities resolved through AD-CFT correspondence, where boundary theories encode interior volumes, a duality that mirrors the way inner thoughts project outward to shape perceptions, blending depth and surface in harmonious reflection. In de Sitter space, approximations of our accelerating cosmos, horizon fluctuations birth virtual particles eternally, a quantum fizz that underpins dark energy, inviting views of infinity as a dynamic equilibrium where creation persists without end, much like the ceaseless yet calming flow of breath in deep repose. Brain world scenarios embed our universe in higher dimensional bulk, with gravity leaking across, explaining its weakness relative to other forces, a subtle seepage that connects local matter to infinite extensions, much like the way personal experiences subtly influence broader life patterns, threading the individual into the expansive whole. Measure problems in eternal inflation, debating how to weigh bubble probabilities, highlight infinity's challenges. Yet swampland conjectures in string theory constrain viable landscapes, pruning the multiverse to fertile grounds, a natural selection that echoes life's own refinements, ensuring harmony amid potential chaos. Wormhole connections in quantum gravity foams might thread infinite space, allowing instantaneous links between distant points, though traversability requires exotic matter, a hypothetical bridge that softens separation, much like the intuitive leaps in dreams that connect disparate scenes seamlessly. False vacuum decays, tunneling to lower energy states in quantum fields, could spawn bubble universes within hours, their walls expanding at light speed, a phase transition that reshapes local infinities, evoking the sudden yet gentle shifts in perspective during deep reflection, where old assumptions yield to clearer vistas. Kaluza-Klein theories, compactifying extra dimensions into circles, unify forces through geometry, where momentum in hidden directions appears as charge, a hidden vastness that folds infinity into finitude, much like the way expansive ideas condense into practical wisdom through focused contemplation. Landscape learning in machine models of string vacua simulates selection pressures, identifying habitable pockets amid the vast array, a computational echo of anthropic reasoning that navigates infinity's expanse with algorithmic calm, suggesting even boundless possibilities can be charted with patient exploration. Ekpyrotic models, where brain collisions in higher dimensions initiate Big Bang-like events, propose cyclic infinities without singularities, a smooth rebound that aligns with string theory's grace, much like the cyclical renewal in seasonal changes, where endings flow into beginnings without abruptness. Foam-like space-time at quantum scales, bubbling with virtual wormholes, might underpin eternal inflation's diversity, a frothy substrate where geometries fluctuate endlessly, evoking the effervescent play of thoughts in a relaxed mind, each bubble a fleeting yet contributory form to the overall serenity. Monopole-antimonopole pairs in grand unified cosmologies could annihilate to heat the early plasma, their scarcity today a relic of inflationary dilution, quiet survivors that, if detected, would illuminate unification's path, much like rare pivotal moments in life that clarify broader trajectories with their singular clarity. Quintessence fields, dynamic dark energy components rolling down potentials, vary slowly to mimic lambda, but allow evolution, their tracking behaviors aligning with observations, a rolling essence that softens acceleration's uniformity, akin to the adaptive flow in mindful living, where energy adjusts to sustain balance over rigid constancy. Texture defects, higher dimensional analogues to strings, might anchor multiverse branches, their stability fostering persistent realms, subtle anchors that evoke the grounding textures in a tactile meditation, where touch reveals the infinite through finite contact. Fractal cosmologies, where structure repeats self-similarly across scales, challenge homogeneity, but find limits in large-scale isotropy, a patterned infinity that invites layered appreciation, much like the recursive patterns in a fern leaf that mirror the forest's expanse, each level a microcosm of the whole. Brain-world black holes, with modified horizons from extra-dimensional leakage, exhibit altered evaporation rates, a diluted gravity that extends lifetimes, evoking the prolonged echoes in a vast chamber where sounds linger softly, blending local events into broader resonances. Bubble collision scars in cosmic microwave background, if from eternal inflation's edges, might imprint circular patterns in temperature anisotropies, faint cosmic tattoos that hint at neighboring realms brushing ours, a subtle contact that softens isolation, much like the occasional touch of a breeze on skin in still air, reminding us of wider atmospheres. Inflaton reheating after inflation, where oscillating fields decay into particles, populates the vacuum with matter in a gentle cascade, transitioning from homogeneity to seeded structure, akin to the way a single idea disperses into fertile thoughts during expansive rumination. Moduli fields and string compactifications, stabilizing extra dimensions, could drive late-time acceleration if misaligned, their slow rolls mimicking quintessence, a hidden geometry influencing the infinite's pace, much like underlying frameworks shaping a life's expansive narrative without overt direction. string gas cosmology, where loops of fundamental strings fill early space, equilibrate through thermalization to yield isotropic expansion. A vibrational equilibrium that seeds the hot Big Bang, much like the harmonious settling of discordant notes into a unified chord in a meditative melody, fostering the spaciousness of infinity from compact origins. Gauge gravity dualities in confining theories suggest infinite volumes, encoded in finite boundaries, where quark confinement mirrors black hole interiors, a correspondence that unifies disparate scales, much like the way a single profound realization encompasses life's myriad experiences in a moment of serene insight. We've journeyed far tonight, from galactic shores to quantum depths, exploring how awareness might weave into the cosmos's grand design, deepening our sense of connection in this boundless sea. As planets orbit in silent vigil and stars exhale their ancient light, let these reflections settle like soft waves on a shore, carrying you toward rest. The infinity that surrounds us also resides within, a gentle reminder that in dreaming we touch the stars. Nebulae continue their quiet artistry. Time's river carries whispers of what was and what may be. Matter's dance invites participation, and black holes guard the mysteries of collapse and rebirth. In this vast ocean, every element, from the spiral arms of galaxies to the probabilistic haze of quanta, converges in a symphony of subtle influences, where your presence adds a unique harmony. Galaxies evolve in their patient mergers, planets nurture hidden possibilities, stars cycle through luminous phases, and the fabric of spacetime yields to quantum whispers, all inviting a deeper surrender to the night's embrace. Dark energies quiet expansion, dark matter's unseen guidance, and the endless web of filaments stretch onward, cradling potentials yet to bloom, while your breath aligns with the universe's subtle pulse, fostering a peace that spans scales from neuron to nebula. Clusters gather in flowing superstructures. Rogue worlds wander with inner warmth. Variable lights pulse like distant heartbeats. And infinite horizons beckon with recursive grace, each layer unfolding to reveal the interconnected serenity that binds all. Filaments weave neural-like paths. Ocean worlds harbor unseen life. Wolf riot winds sculpt stellar farewells, and holographic projections encode boundless depths, all harmonizing in the grand meditative flow. Ultra-diffuse forms drift in ethereal poise. Mini-Neptunes bridge worlds with puffy grace. Symbiotic stars blend in luminous partnership, and cosmic strings loop time's gentle curves, weaving the tapestry tighter with each revelation. Ring galaxies ripple in echoed beauty. Eyeball worlds pool life in focused melt. Carbon stars forge organics in red hush, and pentaquarks fleetingly enrich the particle weave, all contributing to the serene expanse. Eyeball planets sustain in twilight poise. O-stars pioneer chains of light. ADS dualities mirror mind's depths, and landscape prunings guide fertile infinities, deepening the cosmic lullaby. Shell galaxies layer histories softly. Hycean veils conceal temperate seas. Yellow hypergiants bridge phases with poised glow, and time crystals rhythm without end, each adding nuanced depth to the unfolding calm. Starburst bursts seed enduring clusters. Polar rings tilt in playful geometry. Thorn-Jitkov hybrids probe quiet fusions, and Skirmions knot resilient forms, enriching the meditative weave. Trifid lobes balance light and shadow. Eagle fingers shield nascent stars. Rosette blooms from inner renewal, and quantum walks stroll neural paths, all flowing into the tranquil symphony. Gum shells bind explosive legacies, phonons conduct lossless harmony, ekpyrotic cycles rebound smoothly, and entanglement swaps unify distant minds, inviting ever deeper repose in the cosmos's gentle embrace. Seifert nuclei illuminate with balanced subtlety. Mirror pulses send massa echoes afar. Witch head veils wander in soft distortion, and quintessence rolls in adaptive flow, each extending the quiet invitation to drift further into peace. Pelican bays interrupt with dark serenity. Cone pillars anchor amid change. Rydberg clouds whisper distant touches, and fractal patterns layer infinite scales, weaving deeper layers into the soothing narrative. Titari flares settle into maturity. Texture defects ground multiverse branches. Blazer beams connect with intimate detail, and relational time fosters shared unity, all harmonizing in the boundless calm. Red clump anchors trace disk contours. Hairy horizons soften event edges. Wick rotations smooth temporal paths, and tachyonic inversions birth expansive growth, carrying the meditative flow onward. Ferroelectrics align in polar memory. Dyson harvests inspire subtle searches. Prion nestings recurse into depths, and K-meson imbalances seed baryonic prevalence, each subtle thread enriching the cosmic hush. Topological edges conduct without loss. Brain leaks dilute gravitational reach. Texture anchors evoke tactile infinities. And Chapman cycles renew atmospheric grace, inviting surrender to the night's enveloping serenity. Temperate hybrids cradle floating life. Eccentric seasons adapt through dormancy. Fractal challenges yield to isotropy, and wormhole threads soften separations, all blending into the grand, unhurried lullaby, where every quasar's distant blaze, every axion's wave-like veil, every domain wall's permeable divide, every time crystal's persistent rhythm merges into tranquil oneness, echoing softly through the endless expanse, fostering endless peace in the heart of infinity, where the universe's quiet breath syncs with yours in perpetual nurturing harmony, and even the faintest preon's binding, or Skyarmian's knotted form, adds a subtle layer to the boundless repose, carrying you deeper into restful drift amid the stars' gentle vigil. Substellar flickers bridge lonely worlds. Ice giant tilts reveal off-axis grace. Delta Scuti overtones layer stellar songs, and Magnan whispers convey spin harmony, each nuance deepening the serene drift. Cat's eye petals unfold episodic beauty. Bubble shells nurture isolated vibrancy. Thermodynamic arrows curve toward renewal, and emergent timelines project causal grace, all weaving into the enveloping calm. ZZCT probes reveal convective hush. FK Komae, renewals blend merged vitality. Page curves recover lost narratives, and inflatum cascades seed gentle complexity, inviting profound relaxation in the infinite's tender hold. Intermediate black hole steps build quiet mass. Primordial clusters map unseen shadows. Rotating ergo regions harvest inner spin, and bubble scars hint at neighboring brushes, each revelation softening the cosmic veil. Ring nebula beads preserve fading memory. Bubble nebula cores enclose warm isolation. Chiral anomalies drive handed flows, and dilatins breathe adaptive strengths, harmonizing the boundless flow. Moduli misalignments pace infinite roles. Whale nodes pump topological currents. Vortices mimic defect persistence, and glue ball flecks hint at self-bound colors, all dissolving into ultimate serenity where every ring nebula's bead, every bubble's shell, every chiral current's flow, every moduli's gentle roll converges in hushed unity, carrying the meditative hush onward through endless night. Gamma Doradus flows conceal core circulations. Pac-Man arcs pacify advancing fronts. Cygnus webs bind shared legacies, and string gas vibrations equilibrate origins, each adding to the layered hush. Ergosphere clouds oscillate in hidden modes. Cygnus loops trace shock-softened legacies. Page times distill evaporative wisdom, and scalar tensor flexes adapt cosmic paces, deepening the tranquil convergence. Antennae bridges birth, tidal offspring, captured exomoons, balance rogue drifts, whale currents, channel-handed renewal, and texture anchors ground branching realms, all flowing into the serene, unending embrace, where every inflaton decay, every moduli roll, every skyrmion knot, every fractal layer merges in peaceful dissolution, inviting the mind to rest in the cosmos's infinite soothing rhythm, a gentle tide that carries all toward harmonious quietude, with the soft undulations of eternal foams, the aligned whispers of Magnan paths, the recursive clarity of Kaluza-Klein folds, and the adaptive grace of quintessence tracks blending seamlessly into the ultimate repose, where the universe's boundless expanse cradles your dreams like a perpetual nurturing lullaby, syncing every breath with the stars' eternal vigil. Thank you for joining on Dreams of Gravity. Sleep peacefully, wander among the stars in your slumbers, and may your night be filled with gentle infinities, where quantum whispers guide you to serene awakenings, and the cosmos cradles your dreams like an eternal lullaby, weaving your rest into the grand, soothing rhythm of existence, where every blazer's flare, every mirror's pulse, every cone's steadfast pillar, every quintessence's roll converges in harmonious quietude, inviting profound relaxation in the infinite's tender embrace and the soft undulations of fractal waves, the aligned polarities of ferroelectric grace, the recursive depths of preon layers, the adaptive flows of eccentric worlds, all dissolve into the ultimate calm, a cosmic serenity that holds you softly through the night, with Magnan signals whispering through lattices, whale semimetals channeling boundary ease, cat's eye unfoldings crafting petal hush, and thermodynamic curves inviting cyclic peace, each layer blending seamlessly into the enveloping repose. Good night. As the narrative of the cosmos continues its soft unfolding, consider how the quiet interplay of cosmic rays from distant supernovae permeates the void, seeding subtle changes in interstellar dust grains, fostering the slow coagulation that precedes new stellar nurseries, a pervasive influence that binds the infinite in unseen threads, much like the faint hum of the world at night that underscores the peace of solitude. In the hush of expanding voids, where galaxies recede into the cosmic horizon, the subtle redshift of light stretches wavelengths into infrared whispers, preserving ancient spectra that tell tales of primordial abundances, inviting us to attune our inner listening to these elongated echoes, where time's gentle stretch reveals the universe's patient composition. Plasma filaments in intracluster spaces, heated by mergers and shocks, emit soft synchrotron glows that map magnetic fields spanning megaparsecs, a diffuse web that cradles the cluster's luminous core, evoking the invisible networks of affinity that sustain communities across vast distances, each connection a quiet conduit for shared energy. Dust lanes in edge-on galaxies, twisting like silken scarves in the stellar wind, obscure yet enrich the view, their polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons fluorescing under ultraviolet, adding spectral fingerprints to the galactic portrait, much like the shadowed nuances in a personal history that, when illuminated, deepen the story's emotional resonance without overwhelming its calm flow. In the serene drift of ultra-cool dwarfs, barely above planetary masses, atmospheres of water vapor and methane absorb in near-infrared, hinting at temperate climes where hypothetical biospheres might thrive in subdued light, a faint luminosity that mirrors the inner glow of contentment found in simple, unadorned moments of reflection. Gravitational wave backgrounds from early universe phase transitions could hum at millihertz frequencies, a primordial chorus detectable by future space-based arrays, weaving the infinite's foundational vibrations into our auditory imagination, akin to the subtle undercurrents of a distant ocean that lull the listener into profound stillness. Exotic phases of neutron star crusts, with superfluid neutron drips forming lattice defects, enable glitch recoveries where pinned vortices unpin to adjust spin. A resilient recalibration that speaks to matter's capacity for self-healing under extreme duress, much like the way a mind, strained by the day's weight, finds equilibrium in the quiet release of evening. In the boundless foam of quantum vacuum, virtual particle pairs flicker into existence and annihilate, their fleeting dances contributing to the cosmological constant's subtle push, a microscopic effervescence that propels the macro expansion, evoking the playful yet harmonious stirrings of imagination in a relaxed state, where ephemeral ideas bubble up to enrich the deeper current. Cosmic voids, those immense underdensities comprising most volume, evolve as bubbles expanding faster than the mean Hubble flow, their walls thinning to filamentary scaffolds, quiet expanses that allow the universe's average density to dilute gracefully, much like the open spaces in a meditative breath that provide room for thoughts to settle without crowding. In the layered envelopes of asymptotic giants, dredge-up episodes convect carbon isotopes to the surface, tinting atmospheres with molecular opacities that pulse in infrared. A chemical legacy carried outward in winds, akin to the way accumulated wisdom surfaces in later years, coloring conversations with enriched hues of experience. The subtle torque from dark matter, subhalos on galactic disks, induces warp modes that precess slowly, tilting outer gas layers like a dancer's graceful sway. A dynamical response that adds vertical texture to the flat illusion, reminding us how unseen influences can introduce elegant deviations in life's steady paths, fostering depth without discord. Quantum chromodynamics at finite density in the cores of compact stars might yield color superconducting phases where quark pairs condense in Cooper-like states, a paired harmony that stiffens the equation of state against collapse, much like the supportive pairings in close relationships that provide resilience amid pressures. In the infinite lattice of possible quantum states, decoherence selects classical branches through environmental tracing, a probabilistic pruning that favors coherent histories, evoking the way daily choices, sifted by habit and reflection, carve a narrative path through the vastness of potential decisions, guiding toward a serene unfolding. The gentle advection of angular momentum in accretion flows around young stars, builds protoplanetary misalignments, leading to inclined disk wasps that evolve through nodal precession, a torsional dance that sculpts orbital architectures, much like the subtle realignments in personal growth that adjust inner compasses to navigate changing horizons with fluid adaptability. In the expansive quiet of intergalactic space, Lyman alpha forests in quasar sightlines reveal absorption lines from neutral hydrogen in filaments, mapping the web's skeleton at high redshifts, a spectral census that traces matter's distribution in the young universe, akin to reading faint footprints in morning dew to discern the night's passage. Superfluid helium analogues in neutron star superfluids exhibit quantized vortices that tangle under rotation, their reconnections releasing glitches as bursts of angular momentum. A turbulent yet ordered release that restores equilibrium, mirroring the way entangled thoughts untangle in quiet rumination, freeing the mind to spin smoothly onward. The cosmological constants fine-tuning, balanced against quantum fluctuations to permit structure, invites anthropic musings, where observer selection biases toward habitable infinities. A selective serenity that underscores our place in the vast ensemble, much like choosing a quiet corner in a boundless library to absorb the wisdom that resonates most deeply. In the soft glow of planetary nebulae halos, extended ionized layers from past ejections interact with ambient fields to form low-frequency radio emissions, a lingering whisper of the star's final activity, evoking the extended echoes of a well-lived life that continue to influence surroundings long after the central light dims. The interplay of tidal torques in multi-moon systems around gas giants induces orbital resonances that migrate satellites inward or outward, sculpting stable configurations over billions of years. A gravitational choreography that fosters harmony among companions, much like the mutual adjustments in enduring partnerships that align individual rhythms into a shared, unhurried dance. Quantum Zeno effect, where frequent observations freeze quantum evolution, suggests time's discreteness in measured systems, a watchful stasis that parallels the stabilizing focus of mindfulness, where attentive presence halts the drift of wandering thoughts, anchoring the moment in tranquil clarity. In the infinite phase space for classical systems, Liouville's theorem preserves volume under Hamiltonian flows, ensuring ergodic exploration without loss, a conserved vastness that evokes the boundless yet contained journey of self-discovery, where every path circles back to enrich the whole without exhaustion. The subtle diffusion of heat in planetary mantles, driven by convection cells rising from core mantle boundaries, sustains magnetic dynamos through silicate melting, a thermal circulation that generates fields shielding atmospheres, much like the inner currents of emotion that rise to protect and sustain the spirit's quiet equilibrium. In cosmic ray propagation through galactic magnetic turbulence, diffusive scattering randomizes paths over kiloparsecs, delaying arrival times to form a steady flux, a meandering journey that democratizes high-energy delivery, akin to the roundabout paths of inspiration that, though delayed, arrive to illuminate the receptive mind with diffused yet profound light. The holographic principles bound on entropy, scaling with area rather than volume, constrains black hole information in surface encodings, suggesting spacetime's emergence from quantum bits, a boundary wisdom that mirrors how life's deepest truths often reside in the interfaces of experience, where encounters etch lasting impressions on the soul's quiet canvas. As these threads of the cosmos intertwine further, the faint polarization of cosmic microwave background from gravitational lensing by large-scale structure reveals mode couplings that map dark matter distributions, a twisted light that uncovers hidden masses, much like the refracted glimpses through a calm pond surface that hint at submerged depths, inviting patient observation to discern the underlying order. In the serene evolution of white dwarf cooling sequences in clusters, luminosity fades as heat radiates away. Their tracks in color magnitude diagrams tracing ages back to cluster formation, quiet chronometers that anchor galactic histories, evoking the way personal milestones, etched in memory's fading glow, provide timeless reference points for life's unfolding narrative. The gentle precession of planetary equinoxes, induced by solar and lunar tides, shifts seasonal alignments over 26,000-year cycles, a slow axial nod that modulates climate subtly, much like the gradual shifts in perspective over decades that realign one's inner seasons toward enduring balance. In quantum field vacua, Casimir forces arise from mode suppression between plates, yielding attractive pressures from virtual photons, a nanoscale pull that demonstrates emptiness's tangible influence, akin to the invisible attractions in quiet affinities that draw kindred spirits together without overt effort. The infinite regress of renormalization in quantum electrodynamics, where infinities cancel in physical amplitudes, yields finite predictions, matching experiment to exquisite precision, a mathematical serenity that resolves apparent paradoxes, much like the way layered reflections in contemplation peel away superficial contradictions to reveal harmonious cause. As the night's tail extends, the soft infall of cometary nuclei into stellar atmospheres creates transient absorption features, brief spectroscopic visitors that enrich the host's chemistry, a fleeting contribution that echoes how passing encounters in life deposit subtle enrichments, lingering in the quiet assimilation of shared moments. In the boundless quiet of void interiors, hypothetical vacuum bubbles of lower energy could nucleate and expand, reshaping local physics in their wake, a theoretical metamorphosis that softens the fabric of reality, much like the transformative pauses in deep sleep, where subconscious shifts redefine the dreamscape without awakening the dreamer. The resonant locking of spin-orbit coupling in synchronous rotation for close-in exoplanets stabilizes tidal bulges, minimizing energy loss to allow long-term equilibrium, a locked gaze that evokes the steadfast attunement in meditative focus, where inner and outer rhythms synchronize in profound stillness. In the cosmic web's nodal points, where filaments converge in massive clusters, weak lensing shear fields distort background galaxies into tangential arcs, a collective deflection that amplifies the gravitational chorus, much like the converging insights in a thoughtful dialogue that bend individual views toward collective clarity. The subtle oscillation of neutrino sterile modes in short baseline experiments could hint at EV-scale masses, bridging active flavors to dark sector portals, a spectral whisper that connects familiar particles to unseen realms, akin to the faint intuitions that link conscious thoughts to subconscious depths. As infinity's gentle expanse cradles these phenomena, the slow migration of planetesimals in debris disks, perturbed by unseen planets, clears gaps observed in infrared excesses, sculpting observable rings like cosmic mandalas, inviting wonder at the hidden sculptors behind the patterned beauty, much like the unseen hands of time that shape personal growth into elegant forms. In the hushed core of red giants, helium flash ignites in degenerate matter, a rapid fusion burst that stabilizes the shell without explosion, a contained ignition that puffs the envelope outward, evoking the inner flashes of realization that expand awareness without shattering the calm. The infinite series of Feynman diagrams in perturbative quantum field theory, summed to all orders, converge to exact propagators, a diagrammatic poetry that captures interaction's essence, much like the accumulating verses in a lifelong reflection that compose the soul's complete stanza. And in the serene drift toward repose, these cosmic musings blend into the night's enveloping hush, where every filament's weave, every neutrino's oscillation, every Casimir's pull, every helium's quiet flash merges seamlessly into the ultimate harmony, carrying you deeper into the universe's nurturing embrace. With the soft persistence of Scarmian swirls, the aligned grace of ferroelectric domains, the recursive poise of Kaluza-Klein towers, and the adaptive whisper of quintessence fields, all dissolving into tranquil oneness. A boundless lullaby that syncs your breath with the star's eternal rhythm, fostering profound peace in the heart of endless night. Let this tapestry expand a little further as we linger on the subtle ways in which cosmic dust, those microscopic flecks of silicates and carbon, scatters starlight to form the zodiacal glow along the ecliptic, a faint band that arches like a whispered invitation across our night sky, reminding us how even the smallest grains contribute to the visible poetry of the heavens, much like the quiet details in a cherished memory that illuminate the broader scene with tender precision. In the vast hush of intercluster voids, diffuse baryonic gas lingers at temperatures near the cosmic mean, slowly ionizing under the cumulative ultraviolet from distant quasars, a gradual awakening that fills the emptiness with tenuous plasma, evoking the way ambient thoughts in an idle mind gradually coalesce into a gentle current of awareness without urgency. The quiet resonance of orbital harmonics in binary asteroid systems, where smaller companions trace elliptical dances around primaries, stabilizes their configurations over eons. A miniature choreography that mirrors the larger ballets of planetary rings, suggesting a universal preference for balanced rhythms that soothe rather than disrupt, akin to the harmonious cadence of a familiar tune that eases the transition into sleep. In the soft underbelly of molecular clouds, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons absorb far ultraviolet photons to re-emit in mid-infrared bands, their fluorescence tracing the boundaries of photon-dominated regions, a chemical luminescence that outlines the nurseries of stars like delicate embroidery on dark fabric, much like the faint outlines of forgotten dreams that trace emotional contours in the morning light. The gentle erosion of meteoroid streams by Poynting-Robertson drag, where solar radiation pulls particles inward along spiral paths, feeds the zodiacal cloud over millennia, a slow inward migration that replenishes the inner solar system with fresh debris, evoking the way daily reflections draw scattered experiences closer to the core of understanding, integrating them into a cohesive inner landscape. In the expansive serenity of galactic outskirts, globular clusters wander in retrograde orbits, their ancient stars preserving low metallicity signatures from the Milky Way's formative disk. Quiet ambassadors of primordial chemistry that orbit like steadfast guardians, much like the enduring principles from early life that circle back to guide later chapters with unwavering light. The subtle Faraday rotation of polarized radio waves passing through magnetized plasmas in galaxy clusters measures field strengths on megaparsec scales, a twist in light's plane that reveals the ordered turbulence of intracluster media, akin to the way a calm conversation's undertones subtly rotate perspectives, aligning views through shared magnetic pull without force. In the hushed interiors of planetesimal swarms, collisional grinding produces fine regolith that backscatters sunlight in opposition surges, bright flashes when viewed head-on, a photometric effect that highlights the cooperative scattering of countless grains, much like the collective glow of communal memories that surge in brightness during reflective solitude. The quiet accumulation of R process elements in neutron star merger ejecta, where rapid neutron captures build heavy nuclei like europium, enriches the interstellar medium with rare isotopes, a brief cosmic forge that seeds future stellar generations, evoking the way intense but fleeting insights during quiet moments deposit lasting enrichments in the mind's fertile soil. As these delicate processes unfold, the faint glow of zodiacal light fades into the deeper night, where the universe's infinite patience cradles every grain, every orbit, every chemical whisper, blending them into the soothing continuum that invites your own thoughts to settle like dust in still air, fostering a profound, enveloping tranquility where the soft interplay of cosmic rays continues to permeate the void, seeding changes in dust grains that foster coagulation in unseen nurseries, a binding influence that threads the infinite with quiet persistence, much like the subtle hum of evening that underscores solitude's peace, and the red-shifted infrared whispers from receding galaxies preserve primordial tales, attuning inner listening to elongated echoes that reveal patient compositions, while plasma filaments emit synchrotron maps of megaparsec fields, cradling luminous cores with diffuse webs that evoke affinity networks sustaining distant communities. Each conduit a quiet energy. Share. Dust lanes twist in stellar winds, fluorescing hydrocarbons to add spectral depth to galactic portraits, shadowed nuances illuminating emotional resonances in calm flows, and ultra-cool dwarfs absorb in water methane bands, hinting at temperate biospheres in subdued light, mirroring contentment's inner glow in simple reflections, as gravitational hums from phase transitions weave foundational vibrations into auditory calm, lulling with distant ocean undercurrents, and neutron crust glitches recover through vortex unpinning, self-healing under duress like mines, finding equilibrium in evening release, all dissolving further into the night's hush, where quantum foams effervesce to propel expansion, playful stirrings enriching deeper currents, and voids expand as bubbles thinning to scaffolds. Open spaces allowing density dilution like meditative breaths, settling thoughts without crowding, carrying the serene drift onward in endless harmony. Drifting deeper still, envision the quiet alchemy of cosmic ray spallation in interstellar gas, where high-energy protons chip away at nuclei to produce lithium and beryllium. Light elements born from destructive gentleness, a secondary nucleosynthesis that supplements Big Bang abundances. Much like the way gentle critiques in a thoughtful exchange refine ideas, chipping away excess to reveal purer forms without harm. In the vast tranquility of supercluster flows, peculiar velocities imprint on galaxy redshifts, subtle deviations from Hubble's law that trace the pull of massive attractors like Shapley, a streaming motion that gathers structures into flowing rivers across voids, evoking the way personal aspirations subtly deviate from routine paths to converge toward deeper fulfillments. The soft luminescence of airglow in Earth's upper atmosphere, excited by solar ultraviolet on oxygen and nitrogen, layers green and red veils across the night sky, a terrestrial echo of nebular glows where chemistry responds to distant stellar input, reminding us how external lights subtly illuminate inner atmospheres, fostering quiet luminescence in the soul's upper reaches. In the serene evolution of debris, disks around white dwarfs, polluted with rocky fragments from disrupted planets, spectral lines of calcium and magnesium hint at past worlds' compositions, a ghostly archive where fallen remnants whisper of lost systems, akin to the way faded photographs in an old album preserve echoes of bygone lives, inviting tender reflection on transience. The gentle precession of galactic bars, induced by asymmetric dark matter distributions, reshapes spiral arms over giga-years, a slow morphological drift that evolves disk dynamics, much like the way core values subtly precess under life's asymmetries, reshaping outer expressions into more refined patterns without losing essence. As these layers interweave, the universe's patient alchemy continues, spallation forging light elements in gas clouds, supercluster streams gathering structures in flowing rivers, airglow veiling nights with chemical responses to stellar light, debris archives whispering of lost worlds in white dwarf spectra, and bar precessions evolving disk morphologies, all merging into the enveloping calm where every cosmic ray chip, every velocity deviation, every airglow layer, every polluted spectrum blends seamlessly into tranquil oneness, a nurturing lullaby syncing breaths with stellar rhythms, deepening repose in infinity's tender hold. With the soft persistence of lithium births, the aligned flows of Shapley pulls, the luminous veils of atmospheric greens, and the archival whispers of calcium lines dissolving into ultimate serenity, carrying the meditative hush through boundless night. And in this extended hush, the faint tidal heating in eccentric exomoons around gas giants sustains subsurface oceans through perpetual flexing, a frictional warmth that could nurture chemosynthetic life in icy shells, quiet engines of possibility hidden beneath frozen surfaces, much like the inner heat of passion that sustains relationships through life's frictional turns, fostering hidden depths of connection. The subtle damping of spiral density waves in galactic disks, where shocks dissipate energy into heat, quenches arm vigor over time, transitioning spirals to smoother forms, a fading vibrancy that evokes the way youthful enthusiasms dampen into mature steadiness, allowing deeper contemplations to emerge. In the infinite quiet of quantum fluctuations during inflation, scalar perturbations seed the power spectrum of cosmic structure, tiny ripples amplified to gigaparsec scales, a primordial hush that birthed the web we inhabit, akin to the faint stirrings of intuition in meditative silence that grow into profound realizations. The gentle outflow of enriched metals from galactic winds, sculpted by supernova feedback, recycles elements into the circumgalactic medium, a diffusive return that nourishes halo clouds for future infall, much like the outflow of shared wisdom in conversations that enriches the surrounding intellectual atmosphere, sustaining cycles of growth. As the cosmos breathes these subtleties, tidal moons warm icy depths for hidden life, density waves dampen into smooth maturity, inflationary ripples seed structural webs, and galactic winds recycle metals in halo clouds, each process weaving deeper into the serene narrative, inviting further surrender to the night's infinite embrace, where every frictional heat, every damped vigor, every scalar seed, every enriched outflow converges in harmonious quietude, a boundless repose that cradles dreams in eternal soothing rhythm.